decades, humanity has reported encounters with the unknown. Lights in the sky, craft beyond our understanding, and programs hidden in the shadows. Now, the truth may finally be emerging. This is the Uncovering Anomalies Podcast.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Uncovering Anomalies Podcast. This is episode 161. Today is April 19th, 2026, and it's 12:25 here on the Pacific West Coast of the United States. So, Nick and Syd, join us again from Bitcoin Live. We love when you guys join us. Topher is missing in action, but that's fine. Maybe he'll join us later, or we'll catch up with him next week. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about, guys, with the land of UFO and UAPs. There's disclosure news. There's lots of interviews. And I don't know, have you guys noticed this, just how much is happening every single week when it comes to this subject and others? It's like time is accelerating.
Yeah. I think we will see UFO files in our lifetime.
Yes.
We might, yes. Yeah, I mean, but of course it's going to be the government spin, right?
Yes.
And you can see it already. I mean, they've been seeding this, but you can like Luna, she talks about the Book of Enoch. I have nothing against that, right? We've always talked about religion when it comes to this. But when it comes from the government side, when they try to tell us, oh, just read this ancient book here and then you'll understand the UFO subject. I don't know, man. And that seems to me as they're trying to box this in, you know, and so they can control the narrative, or they can benefit from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably both.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this before. Also, is like the ruling class need to be seen as the apex of human civilization, and that's why they don't talk about ancient humans, right? Like 40,000 years ago. The timeline always starts between 5 to 10,000 years ago only, right? And it's evolved, and then they have arrived. And I think it's the same thing with UFOs. They're trying to do the same thing, where, you know, read this book, Enoch. We've known about it for thousands of years. You know, these are just fallen angels or demons, and that's it. You're not allowed to say anything else about the subject.
Can I quickly plug my article, because it's sort of a perfect
segue?
Yes,
of course. No, of course. Yeah, and we'll share it too. Did you send it to me? We'll make sure.
Yeah, I think I sent it in the group.
Someone said make this into a book, right? Anyway, yeah, let us know.
Yeah, it's called The Eternal Oracle, Ancient Temples, Esoteric Networks, and the Modern Power Archetype. And it's sort of like you go through the centuries. Like it starts in the ancient past, you know, like the Persians and the Romans and the Greeks. And then it sort of moves through the centuries, also, you know, the medieval times with the Catholic Church, but also the Asian side of things with the Chinese and the Japanese and the Indians. And then it goes into the modern times. And basically, it's about, well, you know, I can, you know, just give you a really short.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, I like the setup already.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. It took me a long time. It's sort of been months in the making. I started like months ago that I had sort of the idea, the concept, and then I sort of added to it. But I never really had the time to turn it into a full-blown article. But it came out really, really nice. Also, you know, with the help of AI a little bit here and there, because there's a huge amount of research into it. But I'll give you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was going to say. I mean, usually the best ideas does take months to, you know, solidify. It'll come to you really quickly, right? Like an epiphany, like, oh yes, wait, this is how it is. But then when you start the process of writing it down, you realize you need to bring in facts that will help your claims, which helps the reader, of course.
Yeah, and you have to structure it, and especially if it's huge amounts of information, you can sort of be. When I did my thesis, because I studied philosophy, so you know, when I sort of did my thesis, I made every mistake that you can make. You know, I wanted to make it perfect, and I read like 100 million books, and then at some point it becomes like a mountain, and you get covered underneath it. Right? It's sort of impossible to move forward, and AI is very good at sort of clearing the clutter and sort of helping you help you with the structure of the story, right? I sort of,
True.
luckily I did have the structure, but it really helps when you have huge amounts of information. So,
do you use, is there any AI you prefer? Like, do you like Claude over ChatGPT or Grok even?
well, I use Grok a lot because basically it started with, you need the blue check mark in order to operate on X, right? If you want to have any kind of following.
True.
So, and back then you sort of you got a discount when you did it early, and then you got Grok with it. So basically, I've been mostly using Grok, but also a little bit of ChatGPT, and via I don't use it, but sometimes I use DeepSeek via other people, but not directly.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
I just installed DeepSeek on my on that computer I was telling you guys about, and that was just yesterday. It's really good, man. For being free. For being free, I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, but I think Claude is number one, man. There is no comparison with Claude with any other of those.
I'll tell you what the only problem I have with Claude, and Claude is superior, seriously, and conversationally, research-wise. However, you cannot create images in the chat like you can with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And in my line of work, I can't. It's easier for me to just have one window to do things like that. But yes, I agree. I think Claude is superior to a lot of these AIs.
Yeah. I think in terms of rating, I rate Grok the last because Grok sucks.
Well,
I like it.
It hallucinates a lot, man. First of all, if you go and check translations on Twitter, they are always wrong.
Really?
Yeah. How I noticed, because I speak multiple languages, right?
Yeah.
So when I see other translations, they are not exactly what they used to be, because before Twitter was using something else, some other tool, and since they implemented Grok as a translator, it sucks. The translation,
right? It was Google before.
Oh, I have to say, when it translates to Dutch, it's pretty accurate.
Oh, good.
But maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a data set or something. But yeah, from English and Dutch, which is basically my two main vehicles. Yeah, that on my end it works fine.
Also, it just makes shit up. Like if you put a picture over there and say, "Who is this person?" it will say that person, but it's not that person. It's someone else. It always make things up. That's why I'm not very keen on Grok. I think Grok will be good eventually, but right now it's not as good as OpenAI or Claude or even DeepSeek.
And what are you guys seeing now with what's happening with crypto and the war? Just quickly before we get into the UFO updates.
And do you mean the price or?
Or just in general. I mean, price fluctuate. I think we should get used to that, and that's just normal. It's always been that way, right? These ups and downs. But I mean, in general, do you think it'll just be speculation, and they're bringing in a new system that they're going to force us to use, and we won't be allowed to use, like Bitcoin and these other ones, who had the philosophy of not just privacy, but independence, right, from the system? Because it seems like they've captured this industry and they're going to use it for their own roles. Or for their own
let Nick go first, and I'll come.
Yeah, because I know that Syd has a very different opinion on this. So you get two different opinions here.
Okay.
I'm more positive on it than Syd is, but we basically more or less agree, I think. What they're and we talked about it before, so I think it's still more or less the same thing. But in my view, they want to use Bitcoin as collateral, like a pristine collateral for the new system, especially the Americans, the US, and its allies. And I think they will just go ahead and do that. And probably also be successful with it. But yes, you're right. They will try to control off and on ramps and build a CBDC-like system on top of it. And we talked about that before too, right? The Trump team, and we don't know if Trump will stay in the saddle or will be be gone. But I think. Given that they already did so much groundwork, I think it will be very difficult for the US to sort of change directions right now. So it will probably be based on stable coins. And stablecoins are basically CBDCs too, right? They're private CBDCs, and CBDCs are, federal government stablecoins, if you want to put it. Well, basically they're programmable money, and but that doesn't mean like people can still access privacy coins and Bitcoin and all the other stuff. They can just be accessed, right? Because the only way for them to close it off entirely would be to close off all human interaction permanently, like all forms of communication, also speech, in order to cut it off. Of course, you need to have some technical knowledge in order to use it and operate it. But my view on that is that, as soon as people become aware of what's actually going on and what is at stake, and especially if they become very draconian and intolerant, then people learn very fast.
True. Yeah. It's the eternal battle between liberty and tyranny, right? It just doesn't end. It is an existential human thing, unfortunately, right, for us. But so I think you're right. I think there's going to be ways to opt out of the system. It's not going to be easy, right? And they will be targets. You will be targeted or on a list or something.
We already are.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, you're probably on it too.
Exactly. There'll be quote unquote terrorists. And we can see with the FISA, they're just pushing through this FISA spying thing, and Trump is all over it. But yeah, I think I agree with you. And Syd, what's
so actually, surprisingly, my opinion is very similar to Nick.
Told you so.
I think what's gonna happen, first of all, they can not stop cryptos. Like when I say crypto, I mean Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, the top ones. No matter how hard they try, people will always find a way to use it. That's how it was structured. Especially Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Secondly, the demand of Bitcoin will go a lot up, because now what I'm listening from Middle East, that the toll they're gonna charge either in yuan or in Bitcoin. So there is a utility for that. So a lot of people will be paying the toll tax to Iran in Bitcoin.
Petro Bitcoin.
Petro Bitcoin and Petro yuan.
I thought you guys already talked about that.
Yeah, but no, regarding this question, right? One more thing going to happen. I think we will see two types of stable coin. One is going to be US based, like USD based, and the second stable coin is going to be yuan based.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big distinction, and I think one will have some kind of restriction, other one have different kind of restriction, both have restrictions.
Yep.
Yeah,
agree.
So we are going to a multipolar world from now on. So it's not going to be one country ruling. Like it's not going to be just US. It's going to be China and US, and they will both fight with each other using Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, basically. And I think I see a big future for XRP anyway.
Yeah,
I don't like XRP, but I see a future for that.
Yeah, man, I have so much XRP, but of course I'm just ignoring. I'm not even looking at the price, anymore.
No, I think,
but I'm not going to sell either.
5-10 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense, especially if it's the foundation of the system they want to use, right? I mean, it's Hedera, XRP.
Yeah, basically, when you listen to Brett Garlinghouse and Jed Caleb, the founders of XRP, or David Schwartz, right? They have always promoted themselves or positioned themselves as the new banking system, like as an upgrade of the current banking system. They are from the banking system, right? Exactly. So, and their mission, or their stated mission, is to replace SWIFT, right? And like what Syd says, we are moving into a multipolar world. We have been moving into that for quite a long time, as your listeners are well aware. So you will have different kind of SWIFT systems, right? The BRICS have been building theirs for quite a while, and there will be an American ones, and perhaps there will even be, you already also see alliances breaking, right? Japan is talking to Brazil. You see North and South Korea uniting. Yeah. Perhaps you see Taiwan and China uniting.
Yeah, I saw there was a huge meeting with Taiwan and China as well, which it hasn't happened for a while.
So you see a big shift, and also I think Southeast Asia is very interesting but we shouldn't talk about geopolitics, of course.
You're right, exactly.
No, but it's related to Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is directly affected by.
And I think even UFOs comes into it because look, it's the Trump administration who is destroying the petrodollar on purpose. They can't be that dumb. It's on purpose. They're doing this because they want to reset the system, and they need a new narrative. We've talked about this as well, and that's where the UFO disclosure comes from. It's not a coincidence that's Trump who's doing this. He's rattling the system. He's trying to break it down. It's a big plan, and it's so big that most people can't see it, right? They just see him being disruptive and retarded or psychotic. No, there's a huge and big plan behind what they're doing.
Yeah, and in theory, they're actually launching a petrodollar 2.0, right? Because it will, in a sense, it will still be a petrodollar. Only it will be a Western sphere petrodollar. So the petrodollar system will break in two, as it were, and it will be a commodity-based system with Bitcoin as a pristine collateral on the Western side and perhaps also on the Eastern side, but in less demand. And
Bitcoin going to be universal, and then we'll have like other currencies, and it's called a new world order, right? They are actually openly talking about it. Old world order is dying, which is US based world, and now we will have multipolar world, which will have multiple, not just US and China, but other countries will be rising up. I think the next big rise up you will see is between the new crescent of Islamic world from Turkey, Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. That's
interesting.
They are working on to build.
But Israel's not going to allow that. I mean, they're trying to. They're trying not to. But that's the war we're seeing, right? And that's why Turkey now is the new enemy, and I'm sure Pakistan is the next new enemy.
Yeah, but that will be a big mistake because Pakistanis are not nice people. Trust me, they kill first and ask for they apologize later. They are not going to be nice like Iranians. Trust me.
But this is again sort of to tie it back again to my article, and then I'll shut up about it. But I'll give you sort of a teaser to what it's about, and I'll give you sort of the thesis of my my article. Is what if the ancient oracles were never merely religious sites, but original blueprint for elite power itself, a seamless fusion of banking, intelligence networks, occult knowledge, and neutral coordination. And that's what I trace. I call it the eternal oracle, and I trace it through the centuries. And you see it again in this new geopolitical race. You see,
I agree, man. Yes, and that's what the occult is. That's what these ancient mystery schools are. They've passed down, and that's what's all about symbolism, not really language, right? They've passed this down along from them. So like you said, it's a blueprint, but it's a blueprint for a global order, a global control kind of thing. And so it's like they discovered it and they're re-implementing it. Yeah,
but I've been sort of trying to trace it through the centuries and how it gets how it mutates and how certain, because it's a network of nodes, right? Like a decentralized network, it's a sort of a network of nodes. Like central banks together form also like a decentralized network. And they're sort of semi-independent, but together they also form a network with shared interests. And then, of course, the intelligence network is part of it, and the military-industrial complex is part of that sort of global decentralized network. But they also sort of fight each other, right? Because nodes grow bigger and other nodes grow weaker, and then sometimes they get crushed, and you got these internal factions fighting each other. So through the centuries, you see these structures getting destroyed and remolded, and sometimes disappear, and new ones arise. And that's sort of what I try to trace and what I try to explain in the article. And it's very fascinating when you dive into it.
All you have to do is to add reptilians in that, because they are the one who's pulling
we got Topher. Hey, we got Topher. Look at that. Topher has joined.
Hey, everybody. How we doing?
You're all right.
How are you?
I can't believe you guys are so early to the podcast.
Yes, we are extremely early. We haven't started with the updates yet. We were just going to start, so you just joined us at a perfect time.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I took a nap and set an alarm, turned the alarm off, and then went back to bed.
That's all right, man. It's Sunday. We get it.
Yeah. It's been a long week.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the only time I get to sleep is Saturdays and Sundays, so I totally get it. Totally get it. But yeah, we're talking about Nick has a new article out. I don't know how new it is, but it's been in the works for a while, and he does link all. He was just talking about it, how he links throughout the years, how these connections. Wait, what is it? It's to basically create a world order, right? Using
I try not to use those words because I actually try to keep it as neutral as possible for people.
That's fair
Actually,
enough. Yeah.
I try to actually make the case in a sort of I wouldn't want to call it scientific because I'm not a scientist or whatever, but I try to keep it as neutral and realistic as possible. So I try to stay away from New World Order or lizard people and all that kind of stuff.
Fair enough.
All right, great.
Actually, my sister just read it and she said, "Oh, this is really great." And she's like very skeptical about all this stuff, right? She doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, but she said, "Okay, this kind of makes sense, and I can see how this works." The only comment that she had was the same critique that I got from Grok after I sort of let him take a look at it, because at the end of the article is quite heavy on UAPs and UFOs.
Yep.
And then both my sister and Grok independently of each other say, maybe you should be a little less on the UFOs because that sort of takes away or derails
gatekeepers. Yeah. all these.
I think you should
AI.
go more.
Yeah, definitely, man. I was just going to say before getting into the UFO update that underneath this, foundationally is the UFO subject. That's why it is. They cannot disclose it because it is. It's like the source of their power. Like it's like the ring of power. Is this information because it's technology and powerful technology and technology that's years ahead. It's like a hack. It's like having a hack in a game that's yours only and no one else's.
Yeah, so that's what it's about, and the funny thing is, if you dive into the past, like in the ancient past, you actually see stuff like remote viewing and all this sort of esoteric knowledge and this sort of hidden knowledge that they're trying to keep for themselves. It's it's already there in ancient Greece and Roman times and Persian.
So true. With the Oracle right now we can see AI acting like the Oracle.
I also that's at the end of the piece. It moves to Bitcoin.
You said that? Nice. Yeah, perfect.
All in there.
Yeah, and even religions, if and I know there's lots of religious people out there, and I'm sorry to say this, but let's look at the perspective from this perspective, is that it was always the elites who are in contact with the ruling class, who are always in contact with these beings who brought us religions and stuff. So they had the monopoly of the knowledge and information. We see that the Pharisees, the Jewish Pharisees, right? And even today, it is very hard for you to get the knowledge that they have. It's like a secret society. You have to get in there. You have to study daily. You have to practice. And they don't just freely give out what they know. So it's a very, very similar structure.
Yeah, there are like two types of religions, right? One are like secret and one are like open. Like Judaism is very secret. And then like Christianity is like everything is open.
I think Islam is open too because they're one of the only ones who talk about the jinn openly. When you could see, apparently, those beings are in Judaism and Christianity, but they're not openly discussed like it is in Islam.
Yeah, these two are the only religion which are open. Like there is no secret knowledge. But like other than that, everything, like even in the Hinduism, you have to practice years, meditate years to gain knowledge. In Islam, like everything is written in few books.
It's there.
This is the thing. Anything outside anybody claim is not part of Islam anyway. Same with Christianity. It's like the Bible is there.
Read the article and give me feedback because I love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, we'll do that. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right. So let's get into the UFO updates and disclosure. I think that we just hit it right now by saying how Judaism is a secretive thing. I think this country's been heavily influenced by that, which is fine, right? You see it in Christian Zionists, you see it with Mormonism. They're all part of this. So they understand why it's important to keep this subject secret, because that's the country we live in. It's not just. But here's the latest from Anna Luna. She the Pentagon ignored her apparently when she really toughly asked for the 46 videos. They completely dismissed her. And of course they did, but she's not happy about it. Yeah, and here's Matt Gaetz asking her. I mean, hopefully she's able to get them. I'm not too positive about what's going to come out of it, but here, let's take a listen.
Congresswoman, you set an April 14th deadline for Secretary of War Hegseth to release videos that you've said will shock the country. Has that deadline been met, and what was your last communication with the Pentagon?
It was not met. In fact, I had my staff reach out because I said, have they even responded? And then I had to call the White House because the Pentagon refused to respond, of which they then confirmed receipt and sent us a cute response over to House Oversight, which is where my task force is at that basically stated that they would brief us at a future date. But that's not really their call to make. Obviously, I would consider myself friends with Secretary Hegseth and definitely understood President Trump's directive to classify all these files. So whoever's trying to be cute at the Pentagon is about to get rolled because A, that's not up to them. B, Pete would not undermine the president. And C, this stuff has been ordered for release. And so we will be getting those files whether or not they agree with us.
Yeah.
Before we continue, I mean, she seems pretty confident that someone's heads are going to roll and that Pete Hegseth is going to help her out. And, I think she's
full.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Pete is not going to help her out.
He's not.
Yeah. But she can do it because I think she is genuine. She is not faking it. Yeah. And she's trying hard, but she needs other congressmen with her.
Right. And we have to remember that Pete Hegseth is controlled by, the Israeli lobby. They're the ones who pushed him to his position. He's also, an ardent Christian Zionist with a very fundamental perspective on the Bible, right? And he probably sees these things as demons, or if he's told by his pastor, because that's who he meets with every single day. If he's told by his pastor these things are demons, that's what he's going to say, and maybe he might obstruct this process because he'll be, saying that we should not disclose these demons to the public.
100%.
I don't even think it goes down that road. I mean, it's the government being the government, right? I mean, you look at the New Jersey drones. Remember how big of a story that was, and everyone was talking about it. It was when Trump was running for president, and he said, "First thing I'm going to do when I get into office is I'm going to release the New Jersey drones files." Right? What did we get? We got no, those are FAA drones. Don't worry about it, everybody. He said, I'm going to release the JFK files. And what did we get? Heavily censored JFK files. And then I'm going to release the Epstein files. We all know how that's going along. And I kind of think here we are again. I mean, I'm a pessimist, as anyone who listens to the show.
Granted. Yeah.
Trump lied so much that we don't trust him anymore. The whole base, the real base is against him now. It's just like there are a few tards out there who still support him, but everyone else realized that he's lying. He lied about everything during his campaign.
Yeah, pretty much everything. 100% of everything. Okay, 99% of everything he's lied about. But Topher, I mean, I think your pessimism is granted because every single time, it is 100% of the time there's a rug pull. They give hope. They're coming out, yes, finally, and then something happens, and we get nothing every single time, especially with this subject.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, don't they have the built-in excuse to say, "Oh, because of national security, we can't tell you 100% of what's going on"? But here's a little taste.
Yeah. Even that the president.
Here's some grainy footage of lights in the sky from 1924. Great. That's super helpful. Thank you, Mr. Government.
Yeah. And that's why these videos, these 46 videos that she's 45 requested videos. Of course, it's 45. 4 + 5 is 9. They got to play these numerology games. I just saw that. But, these supposedly are 4K videos with satellites and other telemetry that can be seen. So if these come out, that'll be great. But, and we'll see later who's in charge of that. Yeah. You guys probably
but I think they will come out.
I do too. But it's just how much we have so much footage of UFOs and stuff. And what have we learned exactly?
Yeah.
Well, apparently these are not the grainy ones, but we'll see. They might make them grainy, right? Topher, is that they won't really release the the 4K resolution images and videos. It might be something shitty.
I want that footage. Do you remember there was supposed to be that, hopefully someone can help me out with names and all that in years, but there was that documentary that came out and it was supposed to be released with footage of the aliens landing at the base and coming.
The Holloman Air Force one, right? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Like that's what I want. I don't want another footage, taken from I don't know, an aircraft out to sea that shows lights in the sky at 4K. That doesn't do anything for me. I want to see the real footage they have.
You're spoiled. You're spoiled.
Yeah. Well, and if they did release it, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, and so they have to keep that to themselves.
Right.
The point is, like, look at the progress. Few years ago, we didn't even know that government have any videos. Now we know the number, that there are 45 videos they are trying to release. So we are already there. Now we know what to target. So I think even if not in this administration, probably in the next one, we will get it.
I guess you probably have that line up to with Tim Burchett, right? He's going around making new rounds. He's pushing pretty hard. He already said there's 100% certainty that we have been contacted and that aliens are real. Those are pretty tough statements from a sitting congressman, right? So I actually agree with Syd. I think they will be released, and what people say, right? If you got a war, then it's a distraction from this, and then if this gets released, then it will be a distraction from that. It's always a distraction from something else. So, I think they can use another distraction.
True.
Well, why not? I welcome it. But like Topher, I mean, yes. Imagine the Holloman Air Force Base footage coming out with the aliens, and we have some of that queued up as well. But that would be what we want to see, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, fine. Yeah, we want to see 4K video of these anomalous.
That would be totally awesome. And by the way, Tim Burchett also talked about the demons, right? He waved it away. He said it might be real, it might not be real, but it's not really an issue. It's it's a non-issue, and I agree with him. I think I was in a space like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and and there were some people who were they were hammering on the fact that they are demons or angels or whatever. And I'm sort of the opinion, right? Yeah, it might be true, right? But we don't know, right? Nobody really knows what they are, and maybe it's just like Topher always says, the cultural lens that you look at these things. So for some people, they might be aliens, and for other people, it might be demons.
Yeah. I mean,
but the point is, majority of the world believes in demons. So what's the point of hiding? Like, for example, they say, okay, they are demons, and we have a proof of demons and angels. Everyone will say, okay, yeah, we knew that from thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. I think if this isn't some out there theory. I mean, but what if it's all connected? What if they have been acting as angels and demons in the past, right? I mean, and it's what cultures thousands of years ago when they saw these things, these are angels and demons. Now we consider them UFOs, but really it's the same thing.
But basically, when you look at it like that, or we're discussing right here, it is fundamentally a non-issue, right? It's sort of a cultural interpretation, and even if there are a demon, what the hell is a demon anyway, right? What does it give us any extra information?
I mean, even Peter Thiel spins it, right? He says, if this is technology and they're able to traverse, whatever the galaxy, right? The species that has that power, if they're benevolent, they're angels. If they're evil, they're demons.
Yeah.
So, but it could be a spectrum and not just one creation of an angel or one creation of demons that are in scripture, right?
But it's just, it's the same in history, right? If you got an invading army of Huns or Mongols, they're demons.
True.
Yep.
And then they get described as demons in they're called Tartars from Tartaria, right? So the hellish people. So and then people think they're actually demons, right? So
They were
it's the thing with aliens.
Exactly. It depends what perspective you are taking, what culture you're in, what time you're in. So it's probably healthy to always have an open mind to these things. The universe is huge, it's ancient, and
we don't know shit.
Right, exactly. Just labeling things demonic or angelic is probably not the way to go moving forward. I think just have discernment. They all have their own agendas. If it really is thousands of civilizations, they all have their own agendas, and they're all doing what they need to do. Right. Yes. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's just continue this.
Who did they offer to send to brief you? Were they specific about that? And I guess I'm wondering why you think that's insufficient. To me, getting the raw data, the raw information, some of it I've seen in front of the public is a lot more important than just us talking about what our reaction is to it or how we feel about it. How do you view the distinction between a briefing and a true release?
Well, they didn't tell us who would brief us. They didn't set a date. And we specifically weren't asking for a briefing. We were asking for known files that exist. I believe the statements on shocking the nation were comments made, I think it was by Jeremy Corbell or whoever another source was, but you and I both know, we've both seen evidence of things that we can't explain. And so I think the fact that whoever was trying to be cute again at the Pentagon that decided to not pass our letter and to not release these at the said date, it just furthers the distrust that exists with the American people and the federal government, which, to be clear, I don't think Hegseth had anything to do with it. I don't even think his senior leadership had anything to do with it. I think it's someone lower level who's trying to, again, block this. And I will continue to say that we have a right to see this information. We asked for specific documents for a reason. There has been, again, a directive by the president, and so we're going to continue to push for this.
It's so nuts how this issue, just more than any other issue, gets thwarted, right? Any attempt to have transparency on this issue is always covered up, always. I mean, yes, now we finally have a president, and unfortunately it is Trump. I voted for the guy 3 times. I voted for the guy 3 times, by the way. I've lost friends, family, fights with family and shit like that for this idiot, and I want him impeached. But it needs someone like him to release this information. No one else will be able to do this, right?
You need a total psycho in there to release this kind of stuff. This isn't the cool, calm, collected Obama administration. They're not going to release the UAP files. You need the insane orange man to come in and be like, screw it, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he might do it because he want to build his legacy, right? Right now, his legacy is destroyed. So if he released those files, then it will be
the
like
UAP president.
remarkable.
Yes,
so true.
And also, right, I mean, his faction has clear plans for domination, right? So you would need these technologies in order to cement that power. Because I think if he loses, he will be gone, like maybe he might actually go to prison or worse.
Oh yeah. He'll just pardon himself, though. He promised that he's going to pardon his entire administration, basically, so they can do whatever the f they want. I mean,
move.
Just
but
like
if they want to do something to him, they will find a way. Trust me. Pardon.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, he has been, even though people debate it, but it looks like he has been that he has been assassinated perhaps 2 times, right? Yeah. And I think if he loses, there might be a 3rd time.
Maybe. I wouldn't. I put him. I mean, they even caught like listening devices or some other spying devices in the ambulances of the president from Israel. So that really scared him as well, because even if he does survive something, there's something in the ambulance that will make sure he does not survive.
Yep.
So he's under a lot of pressure. Just to be fair, he is under a lot of pressure, and his life is probably hell. He's got Levin around him, all these ultra Zionists around him, pushing him to do things. I'm not saying he's not doing it out of his own, because we know that he's most probably Chabad, and he does believe in Israel and whatever their agenda is.
Oh, look, he picked those people himself, right? So he created his own prison. He did. But I do think that he's under a lot of stress, and that he might actually have had a stroke, right? His behavior is more erratic these past few months than before. And it's not strange, right? If you see what he's doing, it's like totally insane. I would have a stroke.
Yeah, he's lying constantly. Every hour, he's saying something else. It's really demoralizing to watch. Actually,
Yeah.
But so here's, I think this is yesterday or a couple days ago. Is that Turning Point at a Turning Point event, talking about the UFO issue.
As you remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way?
Ugh.
To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today. I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, a little bit. That this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say.
Oh.
And the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know.
Phenomena.
Let me know.
Let me
We've had
know.
A lot of questions. It's something that really captivates the mind. There's no question about it.
Interesting, huh? So he's talking about documents that they found. I wonder what they're talking about. If it's like MJ12 or Roswell or
the fact that he I don't know how to explain it, but the fact like, oh, you guys would be really interested in it. You guys are really interested in this.
Yeah,
really
the giggle
care.
factor. Yeah,
That's a really stupid way to frame everything. You know, I mean, the whole UFO UAP thing is important to everyone, even in the government. And it's speeches like this that sent me back
And
down.
then he insulted his audience, right? You guys are out there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it puts me right back down to the pessimistic rabbit hole where I go, oh, okay, so we're not going to get anything that's useful because even, the sitting president, I mean, if he is in fact trying to make this his legacy, you'd think he'd make a bigger deal out of this.
Yeah. Also, he mentioned documents, but not videos, which means we are not getting videos.
Yeah, my sort of reading has been and still is. I think there's a push and pull and a battle going on, and I think there's powerful forces that are pushing back even against Team Trump, and I think he has to. I think he has to watch his step and how he frames it, right? So I think he actually is very careful in the words that he chooses, and I think that's also why you see this thing happening on multiple different levels, right? Because when you follow people like Jay Anderson or Philip Biondi and this whole archaeological revolution that's going on in the background and what's happening there, I mean, this snowball that's rolling downhill is only getting bigger, and it has become unstoppable in my view. Because it's not only on the political governmental level that it's happening, it's also on YouTube, it's also with these independent or semi-independent researchers. Even my sister is sort of turning around on remote viewing and all this stuff, and like hardcore skeptics are slowly changing their perspectives. So that's pretty there's a big revolution going on.
There is, for sure. I used to have I'd say a decade or two ago, I used to have just the worst arguments about this subject, right? Because people used to get really triggered, and then I guess I would too, and I'll just call them dumb and idiots, and so I made a decision to that's it. I'm not arguing anymore because I was convinced, right? I was completely convinced, and so when people would want to argue, I'm like, listen, man, I'm not going to argue. All right. I'm like, you can go find out what you want. Like, I'm convinced. I'm not here to convince you, kind of thing. And I decided a long time ago not to even argue about this.
And just to put a fine point on it, usually politicians, especially in Western countries, they can only actually really do something if the public asks for it, right? If it demands it. So if the groundswell is big enough, then they can actually, switch the button. So I think what they're trying to do is they're creating this groundswell under the public, that the public is starting to demand, in like a huge amount of people are starting to demand the truth, and then they can sort of move through Congress and the Senate and against this deep state.
Right, and that's what's happening. So the aliens.org website now is finally, they're creating it because it says site not found, and they've set up the SSL on the site and stuff. So it's there and following what Trump said. So we're probably going to see probably millions of documents, just like we had with Epstein, and we're going to have to go in there, search, and see what we can find.
Yeah,
and
We got Claw.
Yes, exactly, man. We can create probably software in seconds to go crawl that website.
And I think that's no coincidence, right? That those two things come at the same time, right?
Yep.
And nothing's ever a coincidence, huh? When you really look into it, nothing is a coincidence.
But that will be our big project. We will work together and we'll go
let's do that,
every
man.
corner and we'll find the truth.
I have good experience now with OpenClaw, and it sounds like you do too. So let's work on that together. I think if we can find the needle in the haystack of those millions of documents, then we can always announce what
and
we found.
Again, like commitment and consistency. That's like a really important influence part. When you read Robert Cialdini, and the best way to convince somebody is actually to let them find it themselves. And then they're committed, right? So I think they're wanting us to find that needle, and then we're committed. And then you're in order.
And it's more effective that way because the person is going through a journey, right?
And then you found it yourself. Oh no, then you also want to know this and that.
100%, man. Instead of, and it's more mature that way. Instead of being spoon fed information, it's like, here, look, find it, here's everything, well, not everything, but mostly everything what we found. It's probably a better structure. And this is Burchett, like exactly what you were talking about, Nick. He's talking about he talks to Trump every day about this subject, and I think he mentions demons as well.
Maybe that's why Trump's downplaying it. He just goes, I'm so sick of hearing about these goddamn UFOs
demons.
and aliens. Demons.
Yeah, Burchett's awesome, man. He sucks on Iran, totally. But, he probably gets fed his AIPAC talking points. But when it comes to this subject, he's really great.
I don't know if it's about little green men or flying saucers. I just know we're spending tens of millions of dollars on something. I think we should know what the heck we're spending that money on. And you can, when they bring it all out, just let people make up their own minds. Because there's going to be a group that's going to say, and look, I'm a born again Christian. I'm from the forgiven end of that spectrum. But I'm not worried about the demonic element. I hear people say that. But there's no reason for demons to be doing this. It's such a small little area. I mean, they could come up here to Congress as easy as maybe they already have. I don't know. But and do I think it's the Chinese or the Russians? And I go back over this. If it was the Russians, they wouldn't be bogged down in Ukraine. If it's the Chinese, they'd own us. Some would argue, as I've stated, they own us already, but more so. And would it be the Americans? Why in the world would we risk a $500 million high-tech aircraft or a fleet of aircraft or a battleship or something to be around these things and a pilot losing their life when we just saw, rightfully so, the president we spent millions of dollars to rescue a pilot. We did not, and there's no telling what that cost, but that's a signal to the rest of the world and to our people that we value life. So there's no reason for us to be doing that. And I won't go too far into it, but I've talked to folks that are at the highest levels, and they will tell you that they've asked the one higher up level in the whole security paradigm, I guess, and they've indicated that it is definitely not them.
So that sort of transitions me well to my next question, which is that we've heard rumors about President Trump potentially preparing for some level of disclosure about.
And I believe that. I had that very conversation with him.
So where is he on that? Is he ready to do that? And a follow-up on that before you get to it is, let's say he makes some kind of statement during the war with Iran. Do you think that sort of undermines, people might say, well, he's trying to distract?
They're always going to say he's distracting. This is just a distraction. And the best day to release this stuff was yesterday. And the second best day to release it is right now.
So is he going to do that?
I hope so. I think he's not beholden to that community.
Yeah.
And
but you've talked to him about it. What's your feeling on whether he's ready?
Well, I don't generally publicly discuss too much what I discussed with the president about, because that could end up, I would not talk, he wouldn't talk to me as freely as he does when we talk. But we talked 14 minutes. I was looking at my watch and I was like, holy cow, it's 14 minutes. It was about a lot of things, but yeah, I told him, I said, it's like layers of the onion, Mr. President. I said, you just keep peeling it back. Yeah, you put the 1 and 2 people in there, but these lifetime career people are in there, and for whatever reason, they're not releasing anything. And also, I feel like the material or whatever it's out there that we don't really have it anymore, because they farmed it out to these corporations, and these corporations are not FOIAble. Freedom of Information Act is for the people back home.
Yeah.
It's when I can say, hey, FBI, release this stuff. I want to see this stuff. And under FOIA, allegedly they're supposed to release it. But say a Ford Motor Company had it, they wouldn't have to release it, and I feel like that's what's happened to a lot of it. And a lot of the stuff we've seen is that I think that we have is probably the people that are dissecting it or whatever they're doing with it probably don't realize exactly what it is or where it came from. They might have an
Interesting. So he talks about three issues. Basically, the one is the demonic thing, which he just discounts it, and also that if it's Russia or China, he discounts that as well, and if it's American, he discounts that as well. And then he talks about how this the material is not in the government hands. It's been transferred to corporations, so it's not FOIAble, and we probably won't be able to find that evidence because it's not in the government's hands, probably on purpose.
It's
definitely still out there. Yeah. So he definitely knows. He knows what's going on, and I like that he said that we put the information out there, let people see it for themselves, which is exactly what we just talked about, which is probably the best way that we dig in and find, just like Epstein.
Yep.
Yeah.
But even with Epstein, they didn't release all. They just released half of the files.
Yeah, there's like 3 million missing, right?
Yeah.
You guys are still talking about Epstein? Oh.
Perfectly played.
Such a frustrating moment, though, in all honesty, hearing that. But yeah, to your point, Adam, we've talked about that on the show before. That is the playbook: is you give it to corporations under contract, and therefore it can't be revealed. That's the playbook.
It is, and it all stems from the UFO issue. They started doing that with that, and then they started copying it with other things, like with COVID, right? That was all all that research went from DARPA into the corporations. And what was the other industry I was gonna? But yeah, a lot of industries they do the same thing, where they push it to the corporations and spying on Americans, like Palantir. Yep. It's okay if it's Palantir because it's a private company.
Yeah.
Even though it's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But
same with like if Twitter verification, Instagram verification. All of the people are submitting their IDs to get a verified check mark, and then or like getting paid, and they are getting their information in the hands of Israelis. And this is not like a conspiracy. This is a fact.
Yeah. X is the same thing.
Yeah, X and YouTube, Instagram, all of them. They are using the same company to verify, and that company we all know is what they're doing.
Of course, it's Israeli. Yeah, it usually is. And even Snowden, he came out when he first came out. He said that the NSA just gives Americans raw data to the Israelis. Yeah. But this might be disappointing. I know it's disappointing for me. But this is from Liberation Times, and guess who's going to be involved in disclosing what Trump wants to disclose to the American people?
Arrow.
Yes,
because they've got a great track record.
Yeah, they do, and their former director Kirkpatrick talks smack about everyone, including Burchett, including anyone who's trying to, have the alien angle or something different than the government angle.
But the new guy is more open, right?
He is, yes, he is. But
they pretend to be open, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They already know everything anyway.
Yeah, and I feel Kirkpatrick is still running the show because why did they ask his opinion? Like he's on Newsweek, he's on all these. They never ask the new director. It's always Kirkpatrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
one reason is that he's available to comment, right? New
Yeah,
director is
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna comment.
Oh, could be that. Could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a good point. But here, the Department of War's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office (ARROW) is working in close coordination with the White House and across federal agencies to consolidate existing UAP records collections and facilitate the expeditious release of never before seen UAP information. Now, this is the organization that's told us there's nothing to see, there's nothing there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not really excited about this, to be honest, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's the Pentagon now that's responsible for disseminating this, so we know they have an agenda. Whatever it is, who knows? But it's not really the truth. That is just the track record of the Pentagon, unfortunately.
No, people who are expecting the full truth or the truth will be disappointed.
Exactly. So we're happy that something is going on, but we are going to be careful.
Is Lou Alexander's involved as well? Maybe behind the scene.
Who?
Lou Alexander.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the head of ARROW.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, of ATIP.
But no, but
ATIP,
is
yeah.
he involved in this one? Because I'm pretty sure he is.
That'd be
Not
nice.
publicly, but yeah, he is always
Yeah.
behind the scene doing his stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you still have. Well, Jay Stratton is out of the government now, right? He's not in the government anymore. But he was head of ATIP at the time. But Elizondo as well. Elizondo is now giving. Well, if we get there, but Amy Eskridge, she's been resurfaced. She passed away in 2022. Anti-gravity scientist, but she's the one who said that Elizondo reached out to her and was trying to get her contracts, and she called Hal put off evil. But yeah,
Hell is evil.
I mean, yeah. He doesn't seem like it though, right? He really hides it.
This is the thing, right? They don't seem like it, right? There are very few people who look evil, but most of the people who are evil, they look like angelic.
Well, I think Hal Puthoff, Stanford Research Institute is very interesting, right? Because it's at the center of many of these issues for a very long time. Also remote viewing and, a lot of other stuff.
Right.
And I think Russell Targ and Hal Puthoff, because it was them together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, right? I think there's also genuine people who are just interested in this field who start working in it, and then they get boxed in and they just try to survive as best as they can. I think Jack Valet is also because Jack Valet basically created DARPANET, right? Which later became the internet.
Yeah.
He's like an information network scientist, so he was fundamental in creating the internet.
Yeah. Even AI, he was very involved with AI.
Yeah. He's a very interesting fellow, and I do get a good vibe from. I think one of the reasons that Jacques Vallée speaks in riddles, besides being French, is that he can't say everything that he wants to say, so he turns them into sort of oracular riddles. So for the people who know, who can read between the lines, they know what he's saying, but he can't say what he wants to say.
Yeah.
And I think Hal Puthoff is similar.
No, but Hal Puthoff is one of the reasons that we have UFO secrecy. It was his institute which said that if we release it, we're gonna have like a massive panic in the people.
That's a good point.
That's true, but he's also connected to the Soul Foundation, and the Soul Foundation. I mean, they're pushing an agenda, and so you won't get the full picture. That's for sure. But if you see his speeches in the Soul Foundation, which I recommend, he's pretty open, and you see him sort of push. He's trying to push the boundary, like he's pushing the envelope. But I think he's these people.
No, you're giving him too much credit. Like it was
Perhaps.
in his hand. He could have said, "No, it's not going to create a panic. Let's release them." No, but his analysis was totally opposite, and we have secrecy. So, like, I don't trust Albertov.
I don't. I also don't trust him. But saying that he's evil, I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Amy was pretty was being dramatic. Maybe he didn't allow funding to go to her or something like that. Because like you said, yeah, he sees a danger in these technologies come out.
And there might be a danger, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a danger of the ruling class. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but, no, which is bad for everyone too, because if their control collapses and the control of society collapses, and then just chaos, and so you could see it in that sense, but we need.
But I also mean, like, we don't really know what we don't know, right? Because we don't even know what these flying saucers really are. Or we don't know anything actually. So maybe there is a danger.
And good point. So in this interview, I don't know if you guys saw it with Cruikshank. This guy's new. He's another MJ12 researcher. So they basically tied newly released CIA documents, right, in 2022 with serial numbers that link right back to the MJ12 documents that were released, and no hoaxer would have known that. And they're missing from the new CIA batch of documents that came out about Project Paperclip. So they released some pages of Project Paperclip, but the missing ones apparently are these MJ12 documents. That
Interesting.
So, yeah, this is a really good interview. There's a clip here. He's Cruikshank, of course. Cruikshank, right? Yeah, I always mess up his name.
Yeah, he's a very interesting fellow. He also did some JFK.
Great. Yeah, he's really good. So, but this guy's new. I don't know. I forget his name, but he has a Substack, and that's why they are interviewing him. And he basically says that they're real, except for one document. Most of the MJ12 documents are real, and even that manual that came out with the different aliens, the different saucers, how to actually capture these and send them to Wright-Patterson or other bases, from the 50s. From the 50s.
Wow.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
About the work that you've done is that while you're not investing time or energy on trying to prove the provenance of the MJ12 documents, what you've done is quite compelling. You've looked at the history of the creation of an intelligence infrastructure in the United States. And what fascinates me, and I know it fascinates Jeff as well, is absolutely everything you've uncovered fits perfectly with the MJ12 documents, except for the Cutler-Twining memo that we'll get to. Can you take me through the history of what you think happened in 1947, assuming there was an alien spacecraft or crafts that crashed in 1947, around about June, July of 1947? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to go back in time a little bit before we get to 1947. So in December 1946, Allen Dulles, General William Wild Bill Donovan, and General Hoyt Vandenberg, and Dr. Bush of what was then the Joint Research and Development Board, they actually met in New York City for 3 days. And the result of that was an agreement between the CIA's pre-statutory predecessor, the Central Intelligence Group, and the Joint Research and Development Board, whereby Dr. Bush would basically leverage Dr. Bush's Rolodex of scientists, right? Dr. Bush, he was the most powerful scientist in the U.S. We've all seen Oppenheimer, right? But we forget that Oppenheimer and Groves both reported to Dr. Bush ultimately. So
and just to give some background here, Jeff referenced something called Magenta. And for our audience who may not know, in 1933, it is alleged by David Grush to me and
just before he continues here. So, Bush, yes, he was very powerful. He's not related to the Bush family or anything like that, but he was extremely powerful. And he was, I think he was MJ1 when it comes to the MJ12 documents. He was, right?
Yeah.
Vandervoort Bush.
Are we sure he's not related? All of these presidential families in the United States always seem to be related somehow or another.
Yeah, I think people have looked into it. He's not related. It's a different family. But it is weird that he's a Bush. But yeah, so yeah, just continuing. So apparently there was an agreement to set up the CIA in 1946 before the National Security Act came out. So which is strange because the Roswell crash happened, and a couple months later, the National Security Act was enacted, and basically to close down this secret.
And the Air Force.
Wait, sorry.
And the Air Force. Actually, this is also in my essay.
Yeah, CIA, exactly. They then it made the Air Force as well.
And also maybe as a side note with because you mentioned Operation Paperclip, but Alan Dulles, he incorporated a lot of Nazi and Gestapo into the CIA when they transformed the OSS into the CIA. Right. So basically, when they created these institutions, the Nazis, or at least those people that they imported from Nazi Germany, they got to they got to decide what got released from the UFO file, right? Because they got in charge of the UFO file.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what he gets into.
Of June of 2023, that there was a crash of an alien spacecraft at a place called Magenta in northern Italy, and that in about 1944, Alan Dulles, James Jesus Angleton, and assorted people from the OSS, the predecessor to the CIA, were involved in a secret effort to transfer that alien spacecraft and whatever technology was with it to the United States with the assistance of the Catholic Church, the Vatican, in or around 1944. So the point is that whatever this meeting was that took place in 1946, your point, Jed, is that it was clearly informed, if Magenta happened as we understand it did, by the fact that the United States was already aware of a recovered non-human spacecraft in or around 1944.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, within America domestically, you have the Battle of Los Angeles, right? In February 1942, where, after that, George Marshall sent a memo to FDR saying that the Navy had recovered one craft and the Army as well. And was
that a declassified file, or is that an MJ12 file?
Jeff, I think it's that one specifically might be an MJ12 document, or it's actually an interplanetary phenomenon unit summary. The IPU is this organization. The Army actually admitted its existence in the 1980s through the FOIA declassification process, but it was a memo in early March, I think March 5th, 1942, where Marshall basically says he's going to create this organization within G2, within Army intelligence, that's going to investigate and handle this topic.
So without wanting to get bogged down in a blizzard of paperwork and dates, you're talking about this 1946 meeting, which is a precursor to what happened in 1947.
Right. So in January 1947, Dr. Bush and Vandenberg, they finalized this agreement between the two organizations. So now fast forward down a couple months into the future. In May of 1947, now I haven't published this in my writing, but this is something that I've found in my research. The Joint Research and Development Board, they actually created their own intelligence panels, which, reading the SIG's internal memos about it, they were freaking out about it because they did not want Dr. Bush. Everyone was afraid of Dr. Bush. You have to understand, he had so much power. Every scientist had so much respect for him that if he were to create his own intelligence unit for scientific intelligence, that would have set a horrible precedent for the CIA ultimately, right? So that, I think, had a big impact on what happened next, which was at the 10th. And so on June 24th, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, he sees, he ushers in, by all accounts, the dawn of the modern UFO age, right? And 2 days after that, the National Intelligence Authority, which was the pre-statutory predecessor of the National Security Council. They met. And in the minutes for that 10th and final NIA meeting, the director of Central Intelligence, Roscoe Hillenketter, he says, and this is in the minutes, he says that we have an urgent and important problem. SIG does not have qualified collectors for scientific intelligence. He says, I don't have any solution, but we are working with Vannevar Bush on solutions, including potential solutions, which he actually outlines in the minutes. The two solutions are, one, to have scientific attaches abroad, which Dr. Bush later said in his oral history interview with MIT that it was actually Dr. Lloyd Berkner's idea, who's another member of the original MJ-12.
So what you're seeing what's being laid out here as the beginning of a secret history. Essentially,
exactly.
There's an intelligence framework being laid down in 46 and 47 that's already aware of the existence of non-human intelligence and their technology, and they're laying the groundwork and essentially building the infrastructure necessary to deal with what is an absolutely shocking phenomenon.
Yeah, this is exactly what many have been saying for decades, right? It is the foundation of the U.S. national security state. Or I would say maybe the Five Eyes national security state. And there's so much more information in this interview, so I definitely recommend our listeners go and watch this if you haven't already.
Yeah, I just linked it into my essay because it fits perfectly.
Right. Yeah, exactly, which is great. Yeah, the more evidence you can have to back up claims is helpful, but especially when it comes to government documents. And this is before FOIA, because FOIA came out in the 70s, I think. So these documents are really important because the government wasn't scared that these memos or documents would come out. They think they'll always be protected. Now, these days, they know everything is FOIAble, so they try to hide it. As we can see what happened with COVID and other things. So there is a system, right, which probably created a breakaway civilization. Now, there's many of them, but we're talking about this U.S. breakaway civilization because it has its own funding. They have their own science. They have their own understanding of history and humanity's place in it. So in a way, they are a breakaway civilization, unlike ours, which is, stuck in 1950s America and that view of it. So really good research from these guys, and maybe, who knows, maybe the government's going to release these documents. I don't know. It'd be nice.
Yeah, would be nice.
We will find it out soon.
Yes, we will find it out.
And I think Vannevar Bush, he also worked with the uncle of Trump, like John G. Trump.
Yes.
I think they were connected.
You're right. He did.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and that goes back to the Tesla papers.
Yep.
Right, which is an uncle of Donald Trump, and it's weird how he acts like he doesn't care about this subject or doesn't know about it. He apparently was close to his uncle.
Yeah, and to Nixon.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think he mentioned multiple times that he was close to his uncle.
Yeah. So he knows about this stuff.
It's shocking how connected these families are, like I just said a little while ago, and connected to the royal family over in Britain too. They're all somehow related. It's bizarre. I mean, it's not bizarre once you realize the whole thing is a sham, right? But
right, yeah. But what is it, like 90% of presidents can?
Yeah, I think there's only. I think I was just reading about this the other day. There's only like 2 presidents or something that haven't been related to the royal family.
Yeah, even Obama is related to the royal family. Like, what the hell, man? So have you guys seen this? Jeremy Corbell's new Sleeping Dog trailer is out. Oh
God, let's see.
Topher shared this with me, but it is pretty cool because the Daily Mail did something about it. But here, let's watch. Jay Anderson was not happy with this. What did he say?
Pause it in the middle because he gonna strike us. So you have to pause and play.
Oh, he will? Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so
yeah.
Before
he might jujitsu you if you're not careful, Adam.
So play for 30 seconds and stop, like maybe 25 seconds.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Your journalistic credentials mean jack shit. If you look in the 70s and 80s with the CIA, they used to have reporters on their payroll. They don't respect anybody.
Corbell is an investigative journalist who helped obtain and release the DoD footage of UFOs.
I've been holding a secret for about 11 years, and it's going to be extremely public.
He's making himself the star again, guys.
He finally did it. He's been
center of the attention.
He finally did. Every documentary that comes out, I always joke, Corbell can't help but make himself the main character. He finally made a documentary about himself so he can fulfill his wish.
Yes, about himself making a documentary.
Oh God! Sniff your own farts much? Jesus.
Oh man! Even Jay Anderson says that. He goes, "I want to get a cameraman to film me making a documentary about myself, making a documentary about myself."
Yeah, there you go. Unbelievable.
Not a video of an alien. It's not a video of one crowd. It's more than that.
Years ago, I went searching for the truth about UFOs.
Oh God.
And I found it.
He was the most curious kid ever.
First person that I pointed a camera at was John Lear.
John Lear, son of a famed aviation pioneer, a world-class pilot.
The government has between 30 and 50 alien bodies.
Yeah, guys. So he's supposed to be coming out with new information, right? And we'll see in the Daily Mail article about it. But he's making it about himself instead of about the documentation coming out.
So if I understand it correctly, judging from this documentary, he's amazing.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he's the best. He's a gift from God for the
Basically,
people.
he's also wearing Muhammad Ali's t-shirt, and just I think that the name is there, but he want to say that I am the people's champion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people's champion Muhammad Ali. There you go. Yeah.
I hope in that documentary it details how good he is at jiu-jitsu. I think that's an important part.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you saw a clip there, right? About,
yeah.
Yeah.
Have that.
He said in there, it goes, whoever that person was, he goes, that's the first person I pointed a camera at, and I said lies, because we all know the first person he pointed a camera at was himself.
It's so true.
This is his home.
This is his home. Yes.
Was that his mom that who said like he was the most curious person ever?
It's
had to have been.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Called his phone, and he picked up. Yeah, I want to bring a camera, and then how open he was with me.
This was not part of my game plan at all.
Flying saucer.
Wait, just before that, his John Lear's family, I think, sued Corbell because he was, he forced himself into Lear's home, and I think he lived there for like months and would just record him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Lear was sick because he didn't have the will to tell him to take a hike, and he just dealt with him.
So he got a sneer from Lear.
yes, he did. Imagine.
I'd watch a documentary about George Knapp. I think George Knapp documentary would be pretty good.
I like George Knapp. I like George Knapp. I think Corbell is just a force. The guy just forces himself in, and he won't leave you alone. And
100%.
I mean, he is where he is because of that, right?
Yeah.
And George Knapp just deals with him, or is like whatever. It's he's getting the information out there, and he can go on TMZ, and now we have something like this. So he is good at that. The guy is no shame.
Yeah.
Or he's got backing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
like To the Stars Academy backing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like CIA kind of people.
Yeah.
There's flying discs of extraterrestrial origin.
The evidence is very strong. They've been here and are here.
It's an Alice in Wonderland planet. Very few people will ever find the truth. But everybody is looking for the truth. And a lot of people think that they found the truth. But that's impossible.
I'm like the least qualified person on.
All right, 30 seconds there.
I agree with that part. I'm the least qualified person.
Yeah.
But even at the hearings, right? If you look at the hearings, every single hearing, he has to be placed in a place where the camera gets him. Yeah. And he's sitting there nodding, and he's like, yes, like he's a handler or something.
Yeah. I remember on Joe Rogan's podcast when he had Commander Fravor. Joe Rogan was pissed at Jeremy Corbell because he put himself in the podcast. He didn't want him, but he said, you have to get me in.
He showed up. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So again, no shame.
Yeah.
But I guess if you want to succeed in this world and get the clicks and the attention, you got to be like that.
Yeah. Well, that's one way of doing it. So.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Planet Earth. One thing I am is I am worthy of your trust.
If you really have stuff that is that sensitive that you cannot release, you're relying on your connection as a journalist. They're not going to come after not only you, but they're going to come after your family. If I die, the story comes out.
It would represent one of the largest leaks in American history.
I don't know what to do, man. Is it worth it?
Oh man, that was hilarious. I don't know what to do, man. I'm all alone in front of the fire.
Sleeping dog.
Yeah, sleeping dog. Wow.
Is that the title of the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely not sleeping.
He is a dog, though.
Oh, for sure, man. He's like a pit bull. So apparently these are the documents that came out. It's a former head of cybersecurity at Los Alamos National Laboratory. That's not a joke. The guy, he passed away, and his son Johnny was sorting through personal effects when he reportedly stumbled upon files labeled with references to atmospheric anomalies. So they had pictures of this. Topher, if you remember these, there was did we do a Gulf Breeze deep dive?
Man,
Yes.
have we?
Yeah, we did. I remember now. Yeah,
Gulf Breeze is a really fun case. I love that one.
So apparently these were in his notes. Magnified views of unidentified object. Top of Pote. This is from the top. This is from the side. So it looks like it has some antenna. So that was in the documents. This is Los Alamos. Here's that famous picture. It's in the National Archives from the 40s. So this is probably the craft he was talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sent to Corbell.
Of all people. I mean, to be fair to Corbell, which, as you know, I have a really tough time doing, he does get whatever you're going to tell him, he's going to get the word out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He will.
That's
exactly.
fair.
He'll get credit for it, but...
Yeah. And he'll talk about how tough it was to fight through all those ninjas to get to the interview.
Oh, man. The UFO ninjas.
Yeah.
So I look at this weird one. This looks like a comet, but this guy from Los Alamos is saying it's a craft, maybe hiding in a way, like what 3i Atlas is.
Yeah, they're very similar to those documents which are released by CIA. You know, the
True.
website, there's like a whole archives of UFO documents.
Yeah.
I think he just got those drawings and the pictures from there because I have seen them on the CIA website.
So cool. I mean, I will watch the documentary for sure. Did you guys watch the new Bob Lazar documentary?
No.
It's really it's good. I don't know why I'm still on the fence with Lazar. I think because I really want to believe him. I still have a problem with the way, and I'm not going to blame him for this. Maybe he's not good at speech or talking, or when he talks, I just can't believe him. I don't know why.
I trust Lazar. I think he's saying a truth what he believes, but I don't think it's a complete truth. Yeah.
I actually agree with Syd also, and you had some body language experts look at his testimonies throughout the years, and of course he stuck to his story very closely.
Yeah,
and he has been, harassed and lost a lot of stuff because of it, but also his body language, actually fits exactly what he's saying. So if he's lying, he's one of the best liars ever.
It's half though.
In
because
humanity's history.
Some of those body language experts say he's lying, and some say he's not.
Most of them say he's right.
Right.
I trust Lazar. I trust Lazar because every time his name comes up, you've got these randos coming out of the woodwork talking about how untrustworthy he is out of nowhere. It's such an obvious.
Well, here's an example. Topher, if you remember, I did share a Y Files episode when he was talking about speech in reverse, right? And how political analysts use it to see what politicians are lying or something like that. And he had a clip of Lazar on Rogan using that technology, and he was saying that how it's basically, he was in his reverse speech was that's all bullshit. And I remember sharing it early on when we first started on X, and dude, the amount of attacks we had was so quick and so bad, I had to delete that post. And I remember that? I was like, oh my God, this is way too much. And I just deleted it and I got away from that. So there's also that aspect of it, you know, and which gives me like, look, everything he said pretty much has come true, right? We have crash retrieval. We have these things. We're reverse engineering.
S2.
Yeah, S4, exactly. Like, you know, I would say like 99% of what he said has come true, except for like element 115 and how these things work. Other than that, and he had a 3-hour interview with Jesse Michaels, and for me, if you're a liar, you won't survive 3 hours. He spent 48 hours actually with Jesse. Jesse would have known the guy's a liar after 48 hours because the mask falls down in 2 days. Whatever mask anyone has. And you can see this if you've worked on projects with people and you're in the same living space. Everyone's mask comes off after 2 days. And you see the real person. So if Jesse, that's also why I believe Lazar. There's just something there. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's uncomfortable and that's what's coming out. That he's just, you know, maybe it's anxiety. He doesn't like to be the focal point. He said that before. You know, so maybe that's what it is. That
also he didn't make anything, like he didn't make money, but instead he lost a lot of stuff because of his story. So that's one of the main reasons that I believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So maybe that. So, and I don't know why. With everyone else, I'll go 100%. Like with Grush, I'd like 100% to believe him. I don't know why I'm hesitant with Lazar, although I'm more leaning of believing him, of course. But I don't know why I won't get the 100%. Why? What's keeping me back from the 100%? I don't know what it is.
Skill issue.
Probably, yeah, and probably things. It's probably something personally that I have to deal with, and nothing with Lazar. You know,
one thing is his name is weird, right? Lazar,
Laser.
But like, it's a very weird name to have for the person who is the one person who revealed UFO story. So,
but you know, I had the same thing. What you have with Lazar, I had it with Ingo Swann. Right, for a long time, I thought the whole Ingo Swann thing was, you know, totally ridiculous. You know, with the moon bases and he was kind of like a ridiculous person also in reality. But when you sort of dive into Project Stargate, it's becomes pretty clear that Ingo Swann was fundamental to the whole project. Like he was actually the person who came up with the term remote viewing in the first place.
Yeah.
So
I think he is the best remote viewer on the earth, right? Like as far as
maybe Joe McMonagle was the best.
No, Joe McMonagle himself said that Ingo was better than him.
Yeah, but I think he's modest. But yeah, they were close, very close.
Yeah. You guys would like this. This also convinced me more of what Jesse goes into anti-gravity from his research. Obviously, the guy's an excellent researcher. He's obsessed with it. He's been doing it forever. But he links it to Bob Lazar in a way I've never seen it before, scientifically, especially with element 115. And he explains it how Walter Russell see the universe. You know, how it's all electricity, it's all light. And he talks about octaves as well in his science. Now, Jesse doesn't say that exactly, but he says he talks about octaves and different molecular structures and anti-gravity, and he links it to element 115, which we know is not really a stable element, but he makes it make sense why Bob Lazar would say that. It's a long clip, though. I don't think we'll play it all, but maybe I can't. Can I speed it up? Because it's a really good clip about the research that went into it.
To put it bluntly, Bob's work at S4 looks a whole lot like all of the documented knowledge we have on anti-gravity experiments done in the last 100 years. Now again, these claims don't lie in the realm of conventional proven science. But while there's no proverbial fire, there is a whole lot of smoke around them. I'm talking not only of the experiments of Townsend Brown, but of Eugene Pokletnov, Ning Li, and others. And one single element might tie all of these stories together. Bismuth. There's a reason why Bob Lazar kept hearing about it at S4. Here's why bismuth matters. We'll break down the science as clearly as we can. It starts with something called a K factor. A K factor, or dielectric constant, is simply a material's ability to store and discharge electric fields. Now, this has important implications for historical anti-gravity experiments. You see, the higher the K factor, the more thrust or propulsion you see in Townsend Brown's capacitor experiments. Brown spent his career searching for high K materials that could amplify the effect he'd discovered. Bismuth is one of them, and it's often mentioned in the context of his anti-gravity work. There's even an interview from this guy, Lewis Witten, who's at RIAS, which is Martin Corporation, pre-Lockheed merger, their anti-gravity outfit, where they were studying sort of the most exotic propulsion modalities. And he says in this interview with the American Institute of Physics, there's a guy named Townsend who claimed to have an isotope of bismuth that repelled instead of attracted. Material that works well for historical anti-gravity experiments comes up in the UFO reverse engineering program. Go figure. But it gets weirder. Bismuth and element 115, moscovium, share the same number of valence electrons. Valence electrons are the electrons in the outermost shell of an atom, the ones that determine how an element bonds, reacts, and behaves chemically. Bismuth has 5. Moscovium, or element 115, has 5. They sit in the same column of the periodic table, group 15, which means they have essentially the same chemical personality, the same bonding geometry, the same family of crystal structures, the same tendency to form the layered compounds that produce the most exotic quantum behavior known to material science. Lazar described element 115 as the fuel source for the craft's propulsion system. Mind you, this was in 1989, before element 115 had ever been synthesized or named. When it finally was synthesized in 2003, it turned out to be a pnictogen, a group 15 element, the same chemical family as bismuth. And bismuth is basically the most electromagnetically bizarre stable element on Earth. That's either the most chemically literate lucky guess in history, or it isn't a guess at all. Now here.
Yes, exactly. And bismuth, if you guys remember, is what's found in the crash retrieval metals that Gary Nolan looked at,
Yes.
that Arrow looked at, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So this adds to Bob Lazar's story in my view. So
Actually, it's a very good angle. I really like this. Yeah.
Yeah. He's great, Jesse. Really, he does a great job at this. And he's not a physicist or anything, but he understands the science so well because he's so obsessed with it. He wants to understand it, right?
Did you also see that interview with the NASA physicist, electrostatics specialist?
Yes.
I think it was Charles Buller or something.
Berg or Berger. I think he brings him. It might be in this clip actually, and he has him and Lazar speak.
Because he's sort of creating actually working prototypes right now, like with double tested, double blinds, like these sort of anti-gravity technologies that they're developing. I think they also have a website.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's a really cool interview.
It is very cool. And basically, they say they don't know how it works, but when they turn off the device, there's still propulsion there.
Yeah.
It could go forever, and they only put in like 400 volts or something. Nothing. The amount of energy that they put in.
And he was sort of like the lead expert on that field within NASA. Like he was not like just somebody who works at NASA. It was like one of the leading people in that field of electrostatics, I think it was.
Yeah, it was electrostatics. But yeah, should we continue this clip, or I think
why not?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, loading.
Of course, they're on to us.
Self-aware, generating an opposing field in response to anything applied to them from the outside. So that's why bismuth has anomalous diamagnetism. The electrons aren't just passive, they're pushing back.
The most amazing thing is leaning into it, putting all your force on that. Nothing moves at all. And when the reactor's off, you can easily slide it.
This also makes bismuth a natural topological dopant, meaning when you introduce it into certain crystalline materials, it induces what physicists call topologically protected quantum states. These are electron states so geometrically locked into the structure of the material that they can't be destroyed by disorder or impurities. They are, in a very real sense, protected by the shape of reality itself. Element 115, with the same 5 outer electrons as bismuth, would have dramatically stronger relativistic effects, and it would theoretically be an even more powerful topological dopant, best hosted, physicists predict, in chalcogenide crystal structures, which happen to be the exact crystal family that bismuth-based topological insulators already prefer. Same column, same electrons, the dial just turned up to a level we've never engineered. Okay, I know what you're thinking. How do you get from this exotic chemistry jargon to UFO propulsion, or a force that bends space-time? Well, here's where the chemistry ends and something bigger begins. In Einstein's general relativity, energy and momentum in all forms, including the energy stored in fast-spinning relativistic electrons, technically curves space-time. Every electron is, in the most literal physical sense, warping the fabric of the universe around it. Now, for ordinary matter, this effect is so incomprehensibly tiny, it effectively doesn't exist. But a small group of serious physicists began asking dangerous questions in the 1990s. What if, instead of spinning randomly in all directions, their gravitational effects canceling each other into noise, you could align them into a single coherent state, all pointing in the same direction, all pushing together? This was the life's work of Dr. Ning Li, a physicist who dared to dabble in anti-gravity. More specifically, she worked in gravitomagnetic theory. Li was a woman who eventually left her position at the University of Alabama Huntsville to work full-time at Redstone Arsenal on research so sensitive it effectively vanished from public view. And the chair of her department at University of Alabama Huntsville, Larry Smalley, was so high conviction in her work that he left with her. Before she died, Li proposed that in superconductors, materials where electrons surrender their individual identities and merge into a collective quantum state, the gravitomagnetic effect of those electrons, normally washed away by thermal chaos, would suddenly snap into alignment. They'd become coherent, directional. She was trying to build a gravity engine in a laboratory. Let's compare that with Bob Lazar's work on UFOs in the 80s. Years before Ning Li's work ever became public, Lazar described 3 cylindrical emitters at the base of a craft. The emitters at the base of Lazar's craft didn't produce thrust in the traditional sense. They didn't push against air or expel mass. They generated a directed alteration of the gravitational field itself that the craft would then just fall into, not propulsion, geometry. The craft didn't move through space. It literally bent space, and space carried it. That description, organized field-generating devices producing a directional gravitational effect by aligning and focusing a force that normally cancels itself to zero, is structurally, almost precisely, what Ning Li was theorizing in a laboratory thousands of miles away, using completely different source material, arriving at exactly the same place years later.
When the craft is in operation, there is a high voltage detectable on the skin of the craft.
And then there's the hull of the craft. Lazar said that he believed the craft's hull material was an electret, basically a material that permanently stores an electric field, the electrical equivalent of a permanent magnet.
I think the material the craft is made from is an electric. And so it always, just like a magnet always has a magnetic field to it, an electric always has an electrostatic field to it.
Interesting.
And I think that's certainly something important.
Again, bismuth titanate is one of the finest electret materials known, used in high temperature sensor applications precisely because of its stability. Now, if you were designing a hull material for a craft that needed to interact with gravity wave emitters, maintain a permanent electric field, and respond to both electric and magnetic stimuli simultaneously, the material that checks every single box is bismuth ferrite. That's right, again with the bismuth. It's a material that is simultaneously ferroelectric and magnetic, where the two properties talk to each other, where you can control one with the other. No other readily available material sits at the intersection of diamagnetism, topological insulator behavior, high K dielectrics, electret properties, and multiferroic coupling simultaneously. But
damn. So we basically have it.
But this also reminds me of Salvatore Pais and of course Ashton Forbes, because what they're describing is exactly what happened to that plane.
Is a liar. Leave
Yeah,
him.
he talks about orbs though. He doesn't talk about
But this guy explained the whole phenomena, like how these UFO moves. I'm just impressed with this one.
Yeah, but Salvatore Pais actually agrees with what might have happened to that plane, right? And what they're saying, with also the vortex, because what they're talking about here is basically scalar weapons, scalar systems, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, it's electric. It's electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
being stored in the within the craft's hull. So I mean, element 115 creates the fields, like Lazar said. But even if you guys, and you should go watch the documentary, the S4 documentary. It's really cool. From the top where the antenna is, it comes down and covers the reactor. So the reactor is going up and also going down, just like what electric systems do.
Yep. That's super fascinating.
Very cool.
And it's crazy. So all these scientists get really close to it, right? And then they get killed or they get disappeared. It makes sense if you're the one who is funding this, and you're funding scientists, you're funding research. They get the answer, you keep it, and you kill them.
Or blackmail.
No. They don't blackmail. They mark them. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, McCaslin, Amy Eskridge, Eskridge. She passed away in 2022. Many people said she had mental issues and drinking problem and blah blah blah, all that. But she was still a brilliant scientist. Her father was also a brilliant scientist, an anti-gravity scientist, and in Huntsville, Alabama, where Jesse Michaels just mentioned, where a lot of the anti-gravity research comes from. And she was targeted, and Topher sent me her text messages that she said, and she also talks about Bob Lazar, actually.
Yeah, she sent these to her business partner, and he just recently released all this stuff, and it's really freaky if we keep going into it. I mean, she was definitely getting targeted.
Yeah, and there are videos that now have been released. There's a long one with Jeremy Reese, otherwise known as Alien Scientist. He had many interviews with her. She was drunk in that interview. She was drinking a lot, but I think she was under probably a lot of stress as well. But she was just drinking beers during the interview. But I can't imagine being wasted on a podcast or an interview like that. That'd be absurd. Who would do that? I know who in their right mind would do that.
Yeah.
So she's sending this to a business partner. You're saying, Topher?
Yes.
That's who released it?
Yep.
Is in Signal. So she goes, FYI, I've been getting death threats every day repeatedly for the past week or so for my most recent work. She's talking about her anti-gravity work. Like, I finally crossed some line with my own independently developed theory, and it got surveilled. It tipped me over onto some effed up kill list. I left myself a voice note on my hacked phone about some super heady shit that I figured out. Then the daily death threats immediately started rolling in on a daily basis. The past week has been absolutely horrible. I don't even know how to explain it. The most heinous death threats you can imagine. I've been telling the people closest to me over the past few days, quote, I absolutely did not kill myself, no matter what you heard. I've told so many people over the past week that it's simply impossible to take them all out. God damn it. It was just everything that Bob Lazar said. It was just everything Bob Lazar said in a technical sense in the Corbell documentary was exactly 100% backwards, she's saying. The ether theory I have developed over the past year explains why Bob was 100% backwards and fully explains how the EVO that he talked about actually works. I was thinking about it and left myself a voice note about it on my phone while driving home. It got surveilled, and I am now dead meat. It's real bad. I got myself on a kill list by leaving myself a surveillable note on my own phone about the actual role of element 115 in that craft, according to my ether theory. Oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. I did not kill myself. Consulted with Bill and retired general I've been working with. They both agree that the threats are not coming from any government threats. Any government threats are most likely coming from a private entity with a whole lot of cash and who has hired some domestic mercenary goons to harass me to death. It's like the American version of the Wagner Group is on my ass right now for it real bad. Interesting. So she's saying Bob got it backwards, which, it's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not Russia, not USG. So she's saying it's private, probably like Epstein or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about these groups. It doesn't necessarily have to be the government threatening them, but they're probably paying the bill at the end of the day. They just hire a third party to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's how
that's why Pentagon cannot pass the audit. There is a reason for that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what she's saying here, how do you call the FBI and get them to investigate Lockheed or Northrop or Blackwater? You can't. Bad. It would be better for us if it was Russia this whole time. It wasn't Russia. The contractors. God damn it, not good. I did not kill myself no matter what you hear. Dude, poor thing.
Yeah.
Bob had it right. McCandlish, fatal mistake. He was also supposedly he committed suicide right before he was supposed to go to Congress, right? McCandlish. Bob is alive because he told fucking everyone, I did not kill myself. I did not shoot myself in my head with my own firearm. I did not overdose on my prescription meds. I did not drive off a cliff. Like even all the way back to the pain rays that we have both experienced, and we have a video for that for a while now. Yeah, not a foreign nation state and not USG, the contractors, private contractors hiring other private contractors to pain ray and or harass you to death, not for national security concerns, but to eliminate or disable potential competition for their multi-billion-dollar contracts. All this harassment we've experienced is just about the money. It's not a very good scenario. Yeah, money and power.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
But yeah, I mean, and the other one I sent you, they've got the pictures and like how she was burned. She's got the mark on her window that she was.
There's a video of it here. Wait,
yeah.
where is it? No, is it this one? Yeah, this one. She's on her device here.
I've been typing on this fucking offline computer right here. Super fucking sensitive fucking shit for the past several days. With this window right here to my right. And that window door right there to my left. And I've been, my hands have been burned to hell and back as I've
You
been.
can see how red it is.
How did that happen? What's the explanation for it?
And you can get a 3D image.
Yeah, what? Sorry.
I'm saying, how did that happen?
She's saying it's like an energy ray. Like a microwave device.
Yeah,
or some. Yeah, some
it looks weird.
I don't know if it's in the video, but there's definitely pictures of it. Like they were shining something through her window. You can see later on the window where the window has been scorched.
Maybe it's in the same window or video. Maybe later.
Yeah.
Just what I'm typing. Because this computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. You can't hack it. But you can maybe get a 3D image of me typing. So like we just did that. And did that as an act of pure desperation. And guess what? I feel better immediately. Like my hands still burn because there's damage. But it's like my body relaxed when we barricaded the shit. And it was like, like relief, like immediately, because they're hitting me through I'm sitting here typing on this thing. Like directed energy weapons are about harming and harassing people, but they're also sometimes surveillance mechanisms where you can't hack the computer because there's no Wi-Fi card, but you can send microwaves in to get a 3D image of me typing on the keyboard, and you can reconstruct what I'm typing by microwaving me.
Yeah, so basically she's saying she's not connected to Wi-Fi. It's completely, but they still need to spy on her. So they're using electromagnetic energy to recreate 3D, like what she's typing, into the computer.
Yeah.
Fucking scary, man. And there's, other videos of her, of course. This is from that long interview with Jeremy Reese. She talks about, here, I'll let her speak for herself.
For other times. He said it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time. He said, I think you're in the clear. He said, they obviously know about you because I've had multiple, both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a US government agent come to you and say, stop, shut the fuck up, stop, shut the fuck up. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah, we've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you.
Poor thing, man. You can just tell like how stressed she looks. I mean, that's what these intelligence agencies do, right? They confuse you. And they psyop you.
Yeah. That's why we need like proper investigation, and we need to punish those people who are doing all this evil stuff.
100%.
I mean, is Trump going to be the guy? You know, who knows?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, apparently
Trump is not in charge. It's like the people who are beyond Trump. If they want to release it, they're going to release it. Doesn't matter if it's Trump, Biden, or the next person.
Right, exactly. They're the ones. They're the ones in charge. The system put them in charge, and even the president of the United States has no power over them.
Yeah.
But he's saying hopefully it's a coincidence. All these, see, the Trump investigating mysterious disappearance of 10 missing government scientists.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
Of 10 missing scientists. Wow.
Yeah, including Amy, you know.
Yep.
And McCaslin, and I mean, and here they are. Yeah. Do they have Amy in this one? Maybe this is before they found out, because here's all of them. Either dead or missing.
Probably all dead, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bodies just haven't been found yet.
You think
Or,
McCaslin's
when we were talking about McCaslin, I hope the missing are missing on purpose and it's up to them and they're staying missing. I hope.
Yeah.
Well, damn, guys, we're almost 2 hours in. There is some quick things we can touch upon, unless you guys want to go another direction.
No, go in the same direction, because this story was depressing. Like, really hurt me inside. Like, just by listening to her, I could feel the pain she was having. Right? It was like,
I mean, she was even like, look at this clip. She started an organization to raise money for anti-gravity. And these guys, I guess, were interested. She was 34. She died at 34.
Wow.
But here she was talking about the problem of money. There she is, money in anti-gravity, and talking about these billionaires coming in. And it's actually not very clear. The audio is really bad in this one, so maybe I shouldn't play it. We can test it out.
Your academic budget, which is non-existent because they think it's COVID, and then you have your random billion.
That's not clear, but. Yeah, but if people will want to go listen to it themselves, it'll be in the show notes. But for context, here is Dr. Amy Eskridge standing in front of a conference room full of people trying to find anyone willing to help her research anti-gravity propulsion. You can see in her face, she knows what's coming. She told people she had been warned and told several times to stop. She told people her harassment was escalating. She built public-facing companies because she believed going dark meant disappearing. She was found dead at 34. No investigation released. The 11th scientist connected to this pattern. She didn't hide. They killed her anyway.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, people like this always get... Here's another whistleblower from the Army talking about the Internet of Bodies, which this is a really disturbing one. And she's quoting, these are real military documents that she was trained on. And basically, the human body is going to be part of this system of not just surveillance, but control as well, using AI, using computer systems, because apparently we'll have embedded chips in us. Some people say graphite, right, with like the COVID-19 shots, that can, not just, I don't think it's really just about control, but it's about communication and using the body. And they call it the Internet of Bodies. You know how you have the Internet of Things?
Mhm.
Yeah. So the Internet of Bodies, we will be connecting all of us to this AI system. It seems like they're trying to recreate God's natural order, right? Where everything's interconnected, but they're trying to do it, have their own interconnected system.
Yeah, in a way that they have control and not
Right.
God.
Not God, exactly. So yeah, it seems demonic and antichrist.
Yeah, you'd think so, huh? But those UFOs, I don't know. They're
Right.
looking pretty demonic.
Exactly, dude. And they call them demonic because they stand in the way of their agenda. That's
Uh-huh,
what
exactly. Now we're getting there.
yeah. So we can listen here close. It's 30 minutes, so everyone should definitely go watch the whole thing. And she is an army whistleblower. Yeah.
Cyber biological security is an industry. Our body area networks are watched over by our own cybersecurity with Cybersecurity and Infrastructure and the Defense Information Systems Agency. Why? Because you have to have the highest American clearance in order to use the TS-SCI networks, computer networks, to log in and out of bodies. This is watched over by our Department of Homeland Security to hand out appropriate library access to access nodes inside of body area networks. And if you do not have access, you can be caught, arrested, and prosecuted.
She's not happy.
While watching what has been going on in Israel, people wanted to know, how is it that if I'm standing next to another person, the signal only hits me? When you are sitting at a table and your cell phone rings, do the party members you are seated with, do their phones ring? There's your answer. Then people wanted to know, how is the body being targeted? Bioelectromagnetic algorithms that measure the body's bioelectricity with biological signals, perturbating the human biofield. It's a piece of anatomy. The bioelectromagnetic algorithms are then written into our normal classified machine learning, naive Bayes, and all classifiers of algorithms. And then the machine learning is what reads what's going on under your skin and reports it back to a database called your digital twin that the Department of Defense has been working on and with for 50 years.
Whoo! I mean, that's a tinfoil hat stuff, but she's probably 100% right. I believed it for a long time, so it's nice to see.
50 years is crazy, right?
Yeah. And maybe they found this out about these other beings, doing something similar to whatever, the planet, humanity, I don't know, this realm. So they probably figured it out. Like, why don't we do our own then, and enslave humanity instead of us being the slaves? And in a sense, it does go back then to religion and God, right? Of the Garden of Eden and rebelling against God or the God system and becoming gods ourselves, and that's the devil telling us to do that. Right. Yeah. So that's how it links back, and that's how it links back to geopolitics and what's happening in the world, right, guys? So good show. I mean, we're at 2 hours, so
yeah,
I think
and Nick left somehow.
Oh,
we were too boring for him. He bailed.
Wait a minute. Sorry, man.
I've been waiting in purgatory.
Sorry, man. I didn't see because I was watching the video. I didn't see you. What happened? You logged back? You logged out?
My phone battery went down, so I had to log in with my laptop. But I listened to most of it. It was a good show.
When did you drop out? Did you see the video?
About 20 minutes ago or something.
What? Holy shit, dude! I'm so sorry.
No problem.
No one even messaged me.
You didn't even miss me. Oh.
No, of course we did. But I mean, so the Internet of Bodies. I mean, that also could go back to crypto, I would say, because wasn't there a patent from Microsoft that said
me and Syd,
we also talked about this for quite a long time on the bigger picture. I mean, these patents were, they have been known and people have been talking about. Graham de Penrose has also been sort of following this story. And the digital twin, that's, basically it is this whole real world assets, NFTs, it's all the same thing. Like it's, creating digital twins, only in this case of the human body. Right, but obviously they want to, use
weaponize
us.
Yeah, right, and just us. I'm sure there'll be a separate, because if these are digital systems, you can have siloed out groups, and if you're part of the elite, you're probably in that group that enjoys privacy, enjoys not being controlled by the system, kind of thing. I wouldn't put it past them to do that.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very sad, but the nanotechnology, makes this. I call them the blockchain babies, right? Because we can also clone people, right? For a long time, I think cloning has been going underground. I think it was Rael and the Rael sect that first, started cloning, and then it went sort of underground. But yeah, I think, with blockchain, you can keep track of all these things. AI needs blockchain and crypto